All right, I am back with another petty pop up. Real heavy on the petty. I'm just here to state my petty opinion. Everything said in this video is alleged and, in my opinion, and used for educational and entertaining purposes. All right, how is everybody doing? Hope all is well. We are here to talk about season 2 of House of the Dragon. Um, This one is called Rhaenyra the Cruel. Okay, y'all ready? Okay, let's go. So, um, episode 2 opens up with the palace reeling from the murder of Prince Jaehaerys. So all of the King's Guard are hurling all of the people out of the castle, I guess, questioning, trying to find out what happened, corralling all the people in one place so they can interrogate and find information about what happened to the prince Jaehaerys. They was just hoarding people all down the stairs, putting them all in one place. King Aegon was losing his mind. And do y'all remember how much time his father, King Viserys, took to build his little replica of the city? So King Aegon decides to just break it all up. He in there just tearing up his father's hard work building that city. I mean, I understand him being mad, but why you mad at the replica of the city? So anyway, he was just angry, throwing things, everybody reeling, not knowing what to do. So Prince Aegon went back into the room and was looking around, investigating with his creepy self. And he reaches down up under one of the tables and finds a gold coin. I don't know if that coin in particular is from a particular region, but he did find a gold coin. Um, so we see um Otto speaking to Queen Alicent, where he was saying that he's trying to be the cooler head and trying to get everybody to calm down. We understand that we have been violated in the worst way, but we've got to play our hand right. So Allison was upset, feeling guilty, I'm sure. Um, he was saying, we must not, be shaken by this. Um, Allison was saying the gods punish us all. They punish me. And he said, for what sin? Of course, she didn't answer. She just sat there with that look on her face. But I think she feels guilty for the relationship that she is carrying on with Sir Criston, and she feels like she may be at fault. So they call I guess they call the small council all together. The king is losing it. He's screaming at everybody, throwing stuff everywhere, screaming about his son, it's his legacy. And he asked Sir Kristen, where was he? And he said he was a bed. Yeah, he was a bed, all right. He just didn't say who bed he was in, okay? Um, him and Allison was sitting there looking guilty as hell. Um, Allison was looking like, oh man, is this because of what we doing? So then Lord Laris comes in and he says that they had detained somebody um trying to get out the gates, and they had the child's head in a sack. And King Aegon, he ready to run off and go get put some work in. He was like, "Oh, I'll kill him myself," and he went, and Otto stopped him, and he was saying, "Listen, we would do well to get some information, get what information we can, um, you know." And then one of the other gentlemen, I think it's Lord Jasper, he spoke out and said, we need to find out if these are the doings of Rhaenyra or if it's somebody closer to home. In other words, we need to investigate this situation. We can't just run all off, make rash decisions. We have to find out what exactly going on, what exactly happened. Was it Rhaenyra or was it somebody else? And the king, he's just ready to go full throttle, just go kill people and not even knowing what exactly happened. He was saying that he didn't want to be seen as weak, and Otto said you were already seen as weak. With the hasty coronation, with the dragon leaving the pit. The people have seen all this. So he was saying, what they need to do is use this situation. I mean, the child already dead. We can use this situation for our good. Let the people see the funeral of the prince. Because at first the king was against it. He didn't want to have no funeral because he think that makes them look weak by being attacked. And he was like, he loved Prince Jacaerys as his grandson, but he won't let him die in vain. He was saying all those people that declare for Rhaenyra, when they see what a monster she is, what she has done, they wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare associate with Rhaenyra. So they can pull all those people who had doubt to their cause, And he was saying that the death of Prince Jaehaerys would do more for them than 1,000 knights in battle if they play it right. He was saying, you'll have your war, but if you wait, you could double your strength. And he was saying, let the people see the sorrow of the crown. Have this funeral procession and say, let the people look upon the works of Rhaenyra the Terrible. So after the little small council meeting, Allison goes to find Helena to tell her that there is to be a funeral procession for Prince Jaehaerys, and Helena was saying she didn't want to, and Allison goes on to explain why they need to have one and how the people need to see the sorrow of the crown, and she tried to bring up what she saw when she entered her room that night. While she seen her with with Lord Christian, but she cut her off. She wouldn't let her go into detail. So there is to be a funeral procession. So they start this funeral procession for Prince Jaehaerys. You can tell that the crowd is kind of uneasy. Everybody's in a somber mood, probably disbelief. Um, so while they having a funeral for Prince Jaehaerys, Laris is questioning the the killer, the hired killer. So he pulls out these tools, that they use to torture people, and the man started talking. Well, he ain't let them pull a fingernail. I mean, he came straight out with it, and he told them that he was hired by Daemon Targaryen, that it was him and the rat catcher. He said he didn't know his name. Um, he told them everything. He said they paid half up front, and they were supposed to get the other half afterwards. And so he asked him, "Well, are you gonna hurt it? Are you gonna hurt me?" And he was like, I can't, not me, but I can't vouch for his grace. So King Aegon comes in. He don't ask the man one question. He just bashed the man head in. And that just goes to show you how everybody is not meant to lead. Everybody is not meant to be king, because we can all understand his frustration and want revenge and want to seek some type of justice for his son, but you also have to know what is the actual threat and where did it come from. The man straight up told you that it was Daemon who hired them. But so while they're having this funeral procession, they just screaming all out that Rhaenyra, talking about behold the works of Rhaenyra Targaryen, she's a pretender to the throne, and that the father of the innocent and all that. But all the while, it wasn't even her; it was Daemon. Um, Helena looked like she was gonna have an anxiety attack. I don't know. Like I said in the first episode, she had some type of extrasensory perception. I don't know if she's just extra sensitive or if she's able to like kind of predict things or whatever, and she just was uncomfortable with all those people in the crowd. Like I said, look, she was having an anxiety attack, and so while they were having a funeral procession, the thing that was carrying Prince Jaehaerys got stuck, and while they was trying to push it over the hole and continue with the procession, the people kind of reached out for Helena, and she was having a fit. She wasn't having none of that. She was like, "Get away from me." She was, like I said, she looked like she was having a lot of anxiety or something. But anyway, all the while they're um scandalizing Rhaenyra's name, the killer told them exactly who it was. Okay, so here we have Rhaenyra in a small council meeting of her own where she is getting informed of the allegations being made against her by her council, that she ordered the murder of Prince Jaehaerys. Okay, so she's letting them know that she didn't order the murder of Prince Jaehaerys. Jace asked to fly out and help, and she quickly said no because she's already lost one son. She's not about to lose another one on purpose. So Rhaenyra was saying, having lost her own son, why would she do such a thing? And to Helena, an innocent of all people. So the council was kind of trying to insinuate that in her grief, um, it might have been a hasty decision, And Daemon was just sitting there smirking, not saying nothing. So, she did say she wanted Aemon Targaryen, and but she didn't say nothing about Jaehaerys. But anyway, so she noticed the look on Daemon's face, and she excused the council, and she speaks to Daemon, and she said, did you order the murder of this child? Of course, he lied and said, he wanted Aemon Targaryen like she did, and she asked him, do he accept her as his queen? And in his mind, he probably felt like he served her faithfully, but he also has that second son syndrome, feeling like he should be on the throne. So anyway, Rhaenyra says that she feel like he used her words against her, and he used that as an excuse to take his own revenge. So they kind of tied up about it. Daemon says that he's on his way now to Harrenhal to procure another castle in her name and all that, and he just was basically telling her she was ungrateful. And she was just saying that she realized that he's selfish, and a lot of times he only think about himself and his own legacy, and she just couldn't trust him. And what do y'all think about this? Because for me, there's already the high towers trying to usurp her throne, number one. So for me, when they killed Prince Lucerys, they should have automatically went to war anyway. So now that we've had a third assault on Prince Jaehaerys, now we're going to war. Why is one prince more valuable than the other? So for me, they drew first blood. They should have been going to war anyway. That's just my opinion. Um, that's just how my mind works. But it's not up to me. And Damon is kind of cold hearted. He is very like standoffish and kind of like withdrawn, because when he passed his own daughter in the hallway, he wouldn't even speak to her. And she was like, "Father," and he was zoned out. He wasn't even thinking about her. He kept on going. So anyway, you gotta be a little heartless to pass your own child and not speak to him. So anyway, Queen Rhaenyra calls Baela in and tells her to take Moon Dancer and to watch over King's Landing, and that she wants to know what course they take next, and she tells her to stay high and out of the way, but she want to know what's going on. And so Baela asks, and my father, and she was like, well, he got to follow his own path. So then we see Daemon board his dragon and take off for, I guess, Harrenhal. So next we have Aegon and Helena passing each other in the hallway. They just kind of look awkwardly at each other. They don't express, anything about the loss of their child. It must be like a weird kind of relationship. They just seem like they have an awkward relationship, as you probably would if you was married to your brother. The incest and stuff. That's the only thing that I really don't like about this show. But they don't really explain like the thought process by why they were doing that back in the day. I know a lot of royal families. They did it supposedly to keep the bloodline pure or whatever. But they raised the children together and then they married a sister to her brother. That's weird. But anyway, they're very awkward. They don't say anything and they just move on past each other in the hallway. And Criston, it's a weird kind of juxtaposition watching him as, they dismantled the bedroom where Prince Jaehaerys was killed, and he just standing there looking guilty because I think he kind of feels like, maybe if he was more focused on his job than what he's actually doing, then maybe possibly it could have happened. It might not have happened, but nobody can say for sure. While Rhaenyra is playing with her own children, look like she's kind of deep in thought, thinking about, going forward, how she will proceed, with the events, that have come about. Prince Queen Alicent is getting ready to take a bath, and after the attendant, pours the water on her after she leaves, she asks Sir Criston, have you told anyone? And he was like, no, what do you take me for? And she was like, someone looking for absolution. Because they both supposedly religious, at heart. And, they were quick to villainize Rhaenyra for having feelings and being in a position of authority and needing to, be human and have connections with other people, and they themselves have found out that they fall just as short, if not worse, than Rhaenyra. But anyway, they both just looking guilty as hell. So I guess Allison called herself relieving her frustration with her bath, trying to wash that guilt off. But honey, you can wash all day. You ain't gonna be able to wash that off, especially since you're still doing it. So Criston Cole looks for somewhere to go, relieve his frustration, and he finds Sir Eric. He gives him some drama about his uniform, telling him that they represent purity. Him of all people speaking about purity, and he asked him where he was when Prince Jaehaerys was assaulted, and Sir Eric said, "Where were you?" You just see the look on his face when he said that. He couldn't say where he was. But anyway, um, so once they decided to tie up, I mean, Eric was walking off. He was like, well, I'll correct the error, and he got up to walk off, and that wasn't good enough. So Kristen Cole, he kept going with it, and he said, you have brought, disgrace upon, our ranks. And the rest of the King's Guard was like, yeah, it's time to go. They got up and they was getting up out of there. And he was like, the prince was murdered on your watch. I'm like, okay, wasn't it your watch too? But anyway, he was basically telling him, um, they need to play Rhaenyra back in the same bloody coin that she used, like in the same way that she sent people into the castle to kill Jaehaerys, that he needs to go into her castle and kill her. And he was telling him how to do it, and telling him that his brother, since he was on her serving Rhaenyra, that the staff would mistake him for him, and you know that he would be able to pull it off. And so Sir Eric was like, so you will send me to my death? And he was like, or send you to triumph and glory. But either way, Sir Eric accepted and said that, as you command. So he decided that he's gonna take this mission to go to Rhaenyra's castle and try to kill her. So in the next scene, we get Bela and Jace. Um, Bela asks Jace, do he know where he went, speaking about Daemon, and Jace was like Harrenhal, I would think. So they start talking about fathers, and she asked him what did he remember of her uncle, which would be Laner, and he told her that he had a weakness for cake and just little stuff, fun memories he had of him. And so she asked him, "What about Harvin Strong, who is supposed to be their actual biological father?" And he was like, telling what he knew about him. And she was just saying that sometimes she thinks she hate Damon. So the next scene is a brothel scene where we find Prince Aemon in the arms of his whore. He was telling her that Damon had sent those murderers to kill him, not Jaehaerys, and that he's afraid of him, and that he regretted that business with Luke, and that he lost his temper, and that he was sorry for what he had done. Well, instead of telling that to your whore, you might have told that to Rhaenyra. Maybe, just maybe, it may not have started, this war that's getting ready to take place, but an apology for a murder is not even. It's not equal. You got to give something more than an apology. But anyway, um, then we see Hugh, who is the petitioner. Remember when he was speaking to the king about the iron that they're having to pay to make weapons for the war, and the prince and the king promised them money, told them that they were going to be paid well and that they would be paid in advance. So we see him here speaking with his wife, and he has a sick child. The wife is complaining about how far she had to go to get meat and how much she had to pay to get it. And he was trying to appease her by saying that the king promised money. And she was like, "Did he say when?" No, he didn't say when, but I guess he's trying to appease her and say that, it's going to get better. But, when they introduce characters like this and they show their home life and stuff, they have a part to play, coming up into the war. And I know that he's an iron worker, so we'll see, what is his role going forward. So in the next scene, we have Alan meeting up with his brother, Adam. Alan is the man who saved Lord Corlys when he was injured. Um, so his brother is saying that, I heard Lord Corlys commended you. He was asking him, will you sail with him? And Alan was saying, he made no offer. And Adam was saying, sail with him. That's how you can make your fortune. Um, he owes you. He owes us. And he was like, it's an opportunity to distinguish yourself. But Alan was more interested in just reuniting with his brother. He didn't really want to talk about Corlys. Um, and so the next scene we have is Lord Corlys and Princess Rhaenys getting busy. Corlys was pissed that Daemon had left, saying that, we needed his counsel the most, while he was flying off. Um, Rhaenys said that, he wishes to be his own master. And so King Corlys said, he's king consort. And Rhaenys said, yeah, but he's not the king. So Corlys was asking, do you think that he will challenge Rhaenyra? And she was like, I don't know, but he can't allow her to command him either. So Lord Corlys was saying, on occasion, I find that to be quite enjoyable. um, and Rhaenys was like, well, let's see what happens. If he take Harrenhal, then all might well be forgiven. But in the meantime, I'm here. with my dragon, with Melis, and we won't let the queen falter. So next they show Rhaenyra still looking for information, looking in her books, her study, looking for answers. They bring Masseria in, and she asked her, did she know what happened in King's Landing? And she said that she did. She asked her, was she involved? And basically, who are you? Um, Masseria said she was a prisoner. Um, she said I gave him two names, and I didn't want to do that. She said he said that was the price of my freedom. And so she was like, well, what did he say? And where she said, oh, he gone. She was like, well, for how long? And she was like, I don't know, a week, forever. I don't know how long he gone. So Rhaenyra kind of just looking at her, and then she remembered where she knew her from. So back in season 1, when she was dating Daemon, Daemon had stole these dragon eggs, and um Rhaenyra went to get it back. When she went to get it back, he lied about why he even took the egg and said that Masseria was with child, and he took the egg as a present for his child that was to be born, which was all lies. But anyway, Rhaenyra came and took the egg back. But anyway, she remembers being on that bridge when Daemon said that she was pregnant, and now she recognizes where she knows her from. So anyway, she was like, that's what he do. He gone. That's what he do. Um, Rhaenyra said it didn't serve her to let her go because she might betray her in some foul way, and she said she had no interest in betraying her. Um, She explained who she was and said that when she came to the city, she had nothing, that she scratched and pulled and did everything she could do to earn money, sold her body, and she listened and she made herself valuable to powerful men. And, that's how she learned that to earn money, and that's how she gained a household and a life, and that it was all destroyed by the high towers. And she just explained who she was, and Rhaenyra just asked her, where did you get that scar? She just looked at her and she didn't explain where she got the scar from, and she let her leave. They showed some aerial views of the city. This man walked up and asked, who are these? Why they hang these people? Who are these people? And the woman was telling him that they were the rat catchers that were in the employ of the castle. So they got the rat catcher, y'all. But I think it's interesting that they didn't use the other killer to find out exactly which one it was. So instead of killing everybody, you could have got the right one. But the king was so pressed to do something to prove he wasn't weak. He killed all of them instead of killing the right one. Did y'all see the Poe dog? Poe dog, your master's gone. So Otto found out about the rat catchers, and he came to ask King Aegon about what did he do about the rat catchers, and him and Criston Cole was standing there looking like they hadn't done anything wrong. He was like, you know, he said that his grandson is a fool. Said the king is my grandson, and my grandson is a fool. And he was talking about all the women and children gathered at the gates, weeping and cursing his name, and all that he had did for him to bring everybody to his side, and all he did was threw it away. And Aegon was saying he would not be thought weak, and he was telling him you are weak. He was like, at least I did something instead of, sitting there waiting on everybody's sympathy. I did something. And he was like, Sir Criston has done something as well. And he was like, what has he done? And so he tells him how he has sent Sir Eric to slay Queen Rhaenyra. Sir Criston says, the bitch queen must pay a price. So Rhaenyra got to be a bitch queen because she ain't want to run away with Sir Criston. In season one, they had a little brief love affair, and because she wouldn't renounce her crown and run away with him for whatever little meager life they could have, she's been a bitch ever since. Okay, so I wonder what Allison gonna be when if he faces any rejection from her. What is he gonna do to Allison? I don't know. That's interesting, right? So he tells her Otto to remove his badge, and he said you wouldn't dare, but of course he said remove your badge and give it to Sir Criston. And he was telling him that he needed guidance and whatever. But he is just not smart enough to know that he needs the wise counsel of others. Um he was saying that his new hand gonna be a steel fist, and I was like, Sir Kristen just crazy as you. He just as impulsive as you are. He don't know how to lead, but anyway, he just wanted to assert his authority by removing him as hand, and he removed his badge and threw it at Kristen's feet. So Rhaenyra meets with Mysteria. She tells her that she does not trust her, but she will keep the word of her house. Lets her collect her things and tells her there is a Balarian ship in the harbor bound for Mir, and that she tells Sir Eric to walk her down and secure her passage on the boat. Assyria thanks her. This is the harbor. I love the scenery in this show. But as they're walking down to the harbor, Mysteria sees Sir Eric approaching um, the castle, and she knows that they are twins because remember when they found her on the boat, she said, when last I saw you, there were two of you. So she knows they're twins, and she knows that she was just standing there with one inside the castle, and here comes another one. So that gives her pause, and she said, hold on, let me go, let me see what's going on here. So Sir Eric approaches the castle, and one of the guard even says, hey, I thought you were inside. And so he was telling them, be vigilant. The enemy is about. Little do they know they walking the enemy right through the front door. Okay, when he gets inside, he bumbles around and tries to find out where he's going until he sees his brother. When he sees his brother, he notices that the brother is not wearing his helmet. And so he takes his helmet off so as to further confuse everybody. And I mean, they was just missing each other too. I mean, they just missed each other in the hallway. So like as his brother was approaching, he went and hid so he couldn't be seen. But they say twins have, this mental telepathy. Sometimes they're very akin to each other, and the brother knew something was up because he turned around and looked, but he didn't see nobody, so he kept going. So after watching for a second, Sir Eric saw his move that he was gonna make. So he went up to the guard and he was like, strange. It's been a strange day that he feeling restless and he'll stand guard this evening. So the guard relented and let him stand guard. He ain't stand there very long, and poor Rhaenyra thought she was getting ready to lay down. Her and another handmaiden was talking about getting her like a sedative so she could rest. Thank goodness she didn't take it. She didn't. Well, hadn't gotten it yet, but that's what they was talking about. So as she's laying there, Sir Eric enters the room and he says, "Believe me, I had no choice." And she didn't understand. She was like, "What?" And so at the very permanent at the right moment, here comes Sir Eric and he says, "Don't do this, brother." And he was like, "You are the one who betrayed us." So they go at it and they fighting back and forth, and poor Rhaenyra was just terrified. She didn't know what to do. While they fighting, they talking, of course, and Rhaenyra had presence of mind to send the handmaiden to go get Sir Lawrence. She said, "Go get, Sir Lawrence." So she runs out to get Sir Lawrence. They continue to fight. While they fighting, poor Rhaenyra had to run for her life. One of the brothers said, "We was born together." The other one said, "You parted, but you parted us." And So the brother killed his brother. He got the best of him, and after he got the best of him, I guess it maybe just didn't sit right with him having killed his twin brother, that he decided to fall on his own sword, and he told Queen Rhaenyra, "Your Grace, forgive me," and he fell on his sword, and um, that was the end of that. It was interesting that he decided to kill himself after having killed his brother. But they say that sometimes twins are very intertwined like that, and maybe he just couldn't handle it. So Sir Lawrence couldn't get in. I mean, he wanted to fight for Rhaenyra's honor, but he didn't know which one was which. They didn't know who was on their team, and a lot of the other guards, they were just standing around. They didn't know what to do. So I guess ultimately, Sir Eric killing his twin was like killing part of himself. And I couldn't understand what their names was, because they every time they spoke about either one of them, they said Sir Eric. So I don't know if it was Sir Eric and Sir Eric or something like that, but whatever their names were, they were very, very similar to each other. So anyway, Sir Otto goes to complain to Alicent. He's upset that he's been ousted as the hand of the king. He was saying how Aegon must be kept in check, and Sir Criston as well, because they both young and stupid. And Alicent had to defend her boo. Sir Criston is not temperate. Oh yes, the hell he is. Sir Otto said that he couldn't stay there exiled from the council and witness to the blundering of their plans, and that he would return to Old Town where they still have power, and he would try to help her from there. And she told him no, instead go to Highgarden, because they were still wavering, so maybe he could go and convince them over to their side, and she'll speak to Aegon in his absence, and maybe he'll get to return, eventually. So I guess she went to talk to Aegon, but when she went in there, he was just sitting there crying, just sobbing like a little baby. And she's still wrapped up in her own self pity. I guess she just decided, look, I ain't got nothing to give him, because, everything he doing, he really bringing it on himself. Instead of being, making these rash decisions, he should use the benefit of the wise counsel that he has, because a lot of these people have served through several different kings. So instead of taking their advice, instead of being rash and acting out on a whim, maybe everything wouldn't be in the state that it's in. But I think he's feeling the weight of his decisions, and he's just sobbing about it, and she just don't have nothing to give him, because she got her own pity that she wrapped up in. So she goes back to her room, and guess who's in her room waiting on her when she gets in there? None other than Mr. Sir Criston Cole, right? So she walks up to him, and she was kicking his ass for a minute. I mean, she was slapping him around real good. And then they decided to turn it around, and Criston was like, I have a better idea. All right, so that was the end of the episode, y'all. What did y'all think about this episode? I thought it was really, really good. I enjoyed it. This show is very well written. For me, it's kind of like a departure of, like, the normal everyday drama. So it's kind of like an escape to watch this show. So, I don't know. What do y'all have a favorite scene? I think I would pick my favorite scene as Sir Eric and Sir Eric little battle to try to uh, gain some justice for the Greens. But I think the whole thing was really good. It was a lot of setting up. It was a lot of setting up things that's to come, I believe, in this one. But it was still really good, real full of action, very well written episode. So anyway, y'all, that's all I got. Y'all get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Did you have a favorite scene? Did I miss anything? Does anybody have a different perspective than what I have? Y'all get down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Thank you guys for watching. Until the next time, peace.